Good morning, everyone. This is Dan. And have you have mice or do you have rats that are running around your house? Well, I think I can help you. I am a 40-year veteran in the pest control industry, a former business owner. And today we're going to be talking about how to get rid of rats and how we get rid of mice in your house. So we're going to talk about the disclaimer. This live stream is for informational and educational purposes only. Pest control methods can be varied depending on the situation, and viewers should follow all product labels and local regulations. The host and this channel are not responsible for how the information is used. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Okay, guys, if you're dealing with mice or rats, we need to talk about a couple things, how they get in. That's first thing we want to talk about. They can come in such small areas, either around a door opening at the bottom, maybe a pipe is going into the wall, a gas line or electrical lines that go into your home, where they just squeeze right in if you don't have those areas that are actually sealed. So we're talking about a mouse needs less than 1/8 of an inch to squeeze because he doesn't have a backbone. So once his head squeezes in, gets in, his body flattens right out where he comes in. And a rat needs about 1/2 an inch. So guys, that's not a very big opening at all for rodents to get in. So let's talk about sealing those areas off first. And when you seal those areas around the perimeter, you also want to use like steel wool. You don't want to use something like caulking or foam or something like that because it will not seal them out. They'll just gnaw it right back out. Now, mice and rats are like squirrels. They have to gnaw at all time to keep their incisors dulled, their teeth. So if they don't do that, their teeth will grow right up into their head. So, you know, that's why they do the gnawing all the time. So a lot of times they've called structural fires where they can get inside your home and they can actually get in the walls and they travel the wiring that's going across in between the studs. And a lot of times they'll gnaw that waxy layer off of that wiring, and that's how they can actually cause electrical fires. So that's something that you have to be careful with. One female mouse can get pregnant at 6 to 8 weeks old. Pregnancy lasts somewhere between 19 to 21 days. Each litter has 5 to 12 babies, and a female can produce 40 to 60 mice in a year. 1 month, you can have 2 mice. In month 2, you could have 10 to 20 mice. Month 3 is 30 to 50 mice. And month 6 is 100 plus mice. In 1 year, I call that an explosion. So a lot of people wait until it's kind of well beyond control before they call an exterminator out, especially when this is a senior channel. And when we're talking about being on a fixed income, hiring an exterminator is not inexpensive. Again, it can be hundreds of dollars if they do the treatment of the mice, if they do exclusion, which means they're going to seal out the mice, and do vacuuming to get up all the droppings and stuff that may be in the house. So you have to remember that mice can just nest anywhere. They can nest in a cloth. They can nest in clothes. Anywhere that they can go to set up their nest, they will. So you could find them pretty much anywhere. How you actually know if you've got a rodent problem, if you hear that gnawing going on in the walls, and you can sometimes hear that, or if you actually see droppings. Now, how do you tell which is fresh and which is not fresh when it comes in the droppings? Say you just bought a house and you don't know it had a rodent problem or if it still does have a rodent problem. What you want to do on those droppings, now let's talk about the droppings. Mice have pointed ends on the end where a rat has blunt ends on the dropping. Mice has pointed, rats have blunt. And how you know they're fresh? You just take a pencil or a screwdriver, and if it's real soft, you'll know that's a fresh infestation. If it's an old infestation, the dropping will just crumble. It'll just fall apart. So that is typically how we know when we have an active infestation. So yeah, we're going to get into how we take care of them and how do we eliminate them. And the first thing we're going to talk about, I'm going to go back behind me here, and we're going to talk about the methods that I use when I was a professional. I'm retired now. My son took over my company, and we're going to go ahead and talk about first line of defense. Now, I'm not a fan of glue boards. I think it's inhumane to kill a mouse or a rat with a glue board. Unless it's a really, really serious situation, I won't typically use glue boards. I will refer to snap traps, inside tamper resistant bait stations, or what we call exterior perimeter bait stations. And both of them serve dual purposes. The inside stations will take care of the mice on the inside. And of course, your bigger stations are on the outside to prevent them from coming in. So, yeah, let's get into how we do it. Move his chair out of the way. Okay, guys, we have the good old common snap trap. There it is. Do you see this little point right here? That is where you want to put your bait. But before we ever put any bait on that, we're going to first put a little bit of gauze. Cotton ball will do. Just like this. You just need a little bit, like it shows here. So what we do is we put this on the snap trap. So that way, when you put like, sometimes we'll use Hershey's peanut butter. Sometimes we'll use, or not Hershey's peanut butter, Hershey's syrup we'll put on here. Or sometimes we may even use peanut butter. But if you don't have this on here to hold the bait, what'll happen is the rodent will sit on the sides of that snap trap after you set it, and he will lick that all off. Never touch it. So with that said, now you gotta think. Always wear your gloves too. Wear some plastic gloves when you're handling mice or rodents and things like this. It's very safe to do that. So again, we put this on here, and then we put either the peanut butter, and you don't want to set the trap yet, not until you actually put the peanut butter or the Hershey syrup, whatever you're going to put on there. And then we can go ahead and set the trap. And they're all pretty easy to set. It's pretty self-explanatory. So what you do, that's what it's going to look like when it is set right there. So what you do, you always set the trigger end that's right here. You always set that against, say this is the wall, or so let's just say this is the wall. We're going to want to put that right up against the wall, because that way you get activity comes from both directions. Don't put it parallel with the wall, because that leaves you another opportunity, only one way for them to actually trip that, where if you put it parallel or vertical perpendicular to the wall, that way you got two chances of opportunity to catch that rodent. So that's one thing that we want to do when you're actually putting what we call snap traps out. Now, snap traps are usually your quickest way to get rid of mice. Typically, you'll get the little ones first, the young, but the females and the bigger ones are a little bit smart. They don't want to have to go to this unless they have to. If there's no other food source, and they and they just run out of something to eat, then they'll go to these. You'll catch the little ones always first before you catch the big ones. So what you do, throw the whole thing away, guys. Buy you half a dozen, a case of these things, and just throw the whole mouse away with the snap trap. Don't try to reuse it. It's just kind of unsanitary to do it that way. You can, to save money, but I don't recommend doing that. So that's how we do the snap traps. Where we put them, like under kitchen sinks, bathroom vanities, in closets, like where anywhere a mice will travel. Mice have whiskers, of course, and they like to rub against the wall when they're running throughout the property or the house. So that gives them direction. That's why they do it. So you want to put this against the perimeter of the walls or in a closet or under a kitchen sink or a stove. A lot of times behind refrigerators, you're going to want to put them like in that bottom drawer of a stove. A lot of times you'll find a lot of droppings in there. So what you want to do is clean all the droppings up first before you put out the snap traps. That way you can monitor if you still have more activity once you vacuum all those droppings up. So that's one thing that we do with snap traps. A normal house could take anywhere from 15 to 25 of these, because you're going to want to put them in primarily where the droppings are is where you want to set these. And then you don't want to set them out in the open. Your animal may get their foot caught in there. They typically won't, like a cat or a dog, but be safe and put them in areas back behind things where the animals usually don't travel, but the mice do. So that's how we do snap traps. If you've got any questions, let me know on that. And now we're going to be talking about, I'm going to set this snap trap so my cat don't get on it. Here we go. We caught a notepad. Now we're going to talk, let me get back up, and we're going to talk about, I can just reach around here and get it. These are called RTUs, or resistant tamper-proof units. The company's name is called Protecta, and I'll get you a link where you can buy these, free shipping, so you guys can buy these things and you can do your own rodent control with these things. Now, typically, you're going to want to put these like a corner of a wall. You want to set that right in the corner. That way they can go in both directions. And these are pretty much, I actually drove my car over one of these just to see if it would break it, and it did not break it. So they're very sturdy. When you buy these, they usually come in a case of 12, and they come with these keys that go with it. So what you do is you open this up with this key, and then there's the bait inside. The mice will travel in these openings that are on the sides, as you can see, to eat this bait. As you can see on this bait, this is on a way previous infestation. As you can see right there, how much they see where they rounded that off. That's what they do when they eat this bait. It only takes a little bit to kill a mouse. So what will kill a mouse typically will not make a cat or a dog sick at all. They would have to really eat this, but they also got agents in this rodenticide that has got a really terrible taste, where animals typically will not get into these at all. So, but use caution. Don't just put out bait stations that are flimsy where they can open up. You are not going to open one of these up unless you have this key. So as you can see, once it opens, it'll snap right back down. So that way, as you hear that, and again, you'll probably need 10 to 20 of these inside around the house. Put them in corners, under the stove, under the refrigerator, in the drawer, the bottom drawer of the stove, if you see droppings there, under kitchen sinks, where the plumbing comes into the wall, if you're on a crawl space or something like that, or a basement. That's how they travel. So you're going to want to put these right in their way where they can get to these. Again, I'll put a link to these. These are called Protecta resistant tamper-proof units. That's the name of the company. and I'll put a link down there for you guys. So that is how we do the inside. Now let's talk about, may have to stand up to do this one. This one is called an exterior bait station. This laptop up just a little. There we go. This is called an exterior rodent bait station. It's heavy, and I'll show you why here in a minute. See that area right there where there's a little key that goes in there that opens that up. And this is your key. So what you do is you open this side up like this, and there are bait blocks in here. Now, this is one I have around my house. Can you see where these things are rounded off here, and the rest of them are square at the bottom? That's where mice have been gnawing on this rodenticide. Now, before we go any further with this, let's talk about the security of the station. Now, this actually goes right back down into here, into the station. Do you see that big block in there? That's cement. That right there holds that downward, and it's not going to move. The wind ain't going to blow this thing because it is it's a heavy stone they put in these. This comes with the bait station as well. So what we do is when we first get this, you're going to have these rods that you put inside down here. So what you do is you just put the bait, and you can see the holes in the bait. You put that right on top. I usually use 4 of these. You can use 2. 4 of these. I usually use 8, but you can use 4 of these if you want to. And when you start seeing activity, you'll see a bunch of droppings inside of this right here. So what you do is put the bait station bait back in there, lock it down. See those holes here? You can even mount that right against a wall, put screws in it if you want to. But you can see how durable this thing is. Again, this is called a Protecta Evo Express. You can buy these from a website that I'm going to give you. Again, one thing I want to mention, as I mentioned at the first of the video, guys, the label is the law. I wanted to educate you how to do this the safest way for your pets, your kids, you don't want any non-target species to get into this rodenticide. It's poison, but it's actually can be used very safely if it's put down properly. And I'm just giving you my 4 decades experience how we do that without endangering other wildlife and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of on a normal house. I've got a small house, so I put one on each side of the house. I put 4 of them around the perimeter. Now, if it's a larger house, you may need another, another 4 to 5 of those around the outside perimeter. But guys, if you order this and do it on yourself, you're going to save hundreds of dollars and not having to call an exterminator. It's very expensive. So I'm just trying to help you out. Again, as I gave you the disclaimer earlier, that read the label. The label is the law. Follow all label information that's on the rodenticide when you purchase it. And you also check all your local regulations to make sure you're doing everything legal. And you don't have to have a license to do this, but it's one of those things that you just have to be careful. And and that's why I say the channel or myself is not liable for anything you do, because this is just an informational channel. And I'm not telling you just go out and do this on your own. If you feel uncomfortable doing that, then you need to hire a professional. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for watching this inside video with where we put the bait stations, how we use snap traps, and how we use the baits that are actually you can provide. Again, I'll put a link down in the description box where you can purchase this. And just let me know if you got any questions, put them down in the comment section. And we'll be doing more instructional videos on how to kill mosquitoes, how we kill cockroaches, ants, spiders. We'll be doing some more videos. Probably be doing a series of these coming up on this channel. So if you've got any other questions, I put out videos usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then on Tuesday morning, I put out the live stream for you guys. So again, let me know if you have any comments. Put them down there, and I'll see if I can help you out. So yeah, share, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'll see you on the next video.